Judge in Florida has denied the Justice Department's request to unseal grand jury material related to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. The DOJ had asked last week for the grand jury testimony to be made public. The information would have come from the 2005 and 2007 investigations into Epstein, which were for state charges. A separate judge is still considering whether to unseal grand jury documents from Epstein's federal indictment in 2019. CBS News legal contributor and Loyola Law School professor Jessica Levinson joins us now. Jessica, always great to have you on. So why did the judge deny the request in the first place?
So the judge was pretty specific. She said the court's hands are tied here and that the Department of Justice had essentially acknowledged as much. If you look at the filing by the Department of Justice, they said, as they had to say, that there wasn't one of the specific exceptions under the statute that would allow for the release of grand jury testimony. We should, of course, remember that the baseline, the default rule, is that grand jury testimony is secret, that the proceedings are secret, that is meant to control the proceedings, protect witnesses, and you need a really good reason to say we have to go against that default rule. The Department of Justice, again, essentially acknowledged we don't fit within one of the exceptions, but argued there's this overriding public interest in saying we should release at least part of the information. The judge said that this is a trial court judge, again, looking at the 11th Circuit precedent. That's the circuit court that Florida's under. Basically, that, again, the judge's hands are tied.
So is there any way, though, for these records to be unsealed, or even parts of the things that you said protect other people, maybe being blacked out, or just getting a better sense of what we haven't seen yet?
So there's a couple of routes. And of course, all of this is to the side of the other files, the FBI files, just looking at the grand jury, where, again, the legal default is that this should remain secret. There could, of course, be an appeal of this judge's decision. Again, this is a district court judge's decision, but I do think it complies with 11th Circuit precedent. Then there's also that that request in New York, and potentially you could have a judge go the other way when it comes to the request in New York to unseal the grand jury testimony. I'm not sure it would, but those are the routes, essentially appeal or hope that things are different in a different jurisdiction.
So many people have come out over the last several years who have talked very explicitly about what they experienced as it relates to Jeffrey Epstein. When it comes down to it, how much more information about Epstein can we expect to get from grand jury transcripts?
I want to emphasize the last part of your question, from grand jury transcripts, which is that there are, of course, robust files that are not part of the grand jury transcripts where maybe there is additional information. You're, of course, right to point out that a lot of this is already public. But when it comes to the grand jury information, I'm not sure that we would find a lot of new information. It wouldn't be the client list people are interested in. We wouldn't be looking at videos and photos. In terms of the public interest, I don't know that it would shed that much new light on the case.
All right, Jessica Levinson shedding light on this case for us from that legal perspective. So appreciate your time.